we are going to be writing a letter to none other than our inner child. So for those of you who aren't really familiar with the whole inner child concept, the official definition for inner child just means your inner child is the part of your personality that still reacts and feels like a child. Obviously, I'm not a professional, I'm not a therapist, so I can only speak on behalf of myself. I can only speak on behalf of my own experiences, but my connection to my inner child has to do with childhood trauma. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, understand that part as well, because inner child, childhood trauma, there's a link. I didn't really know it at the time, but I grew up with a very narcissistic family member. And all the types of emotional abuse, you name it. Gaslighting, I've been gaslit my entire life. And I only recently discovered that I was being gaslit. I was like, no, that can't be me. But lo and behold, it was me. It was happening. And it was really difficult to address this because, it wasn't physical abuse. It was emotional abuse. And I didn't really have anything to prove that I was hurting other than my thoughts. And they would say, oh, you're just being too sensitive. You are just being, you're overreacting. You're such a drama queen. You need to get over yourself. I believed them. I believed that I was being over dramatic, and I was like, oh, maybe I do need to calm down. And I repressed a lot of it. I repressed so much to the point that I don't really remember my childhood. I genuinely thought that most people didn't remember their childhood until I was talking with a friend, and they were like, oh, remember this and remember that, and I was just like, what grade was that? And they were like, fourth grade. And I was like, what happened fourth grade? I can probably name like 5 things that I actually specifically remember about my childhood. Everything else, a blur. As a result of all of the events of my childhood, I ended up growing up a little too fast. I grew up with adult responsibilities at a very young age. And I never really got to be a kid. I never really got to be that free-spirited, wild, creative person because I had so much real shit going on in my life. And whenever I tried to be a little creative, whenever I tried to be, a kid, I was severely punished for it because they were like, oh, you need to take life seriously, you can't be like this. And it really messed with me. So that's why I think that reaching out to your inner child once in a while is incredibly important, especially if you have childhood trauma, because if you haven't actually fully healed from your trauma, your inner child is still hurting. They're reliving that pain again and again. And to be honest, I don't think any kid deserves that. No kid in the world, inner child or outer child, they do not deserve that. There are a ton of different activities that you can do to reconnect with your inner child, like doing your childhood hobbies that you never have time for anymore, or doing very childish things like coloring, for example. But today we are going to just stick to the basics and write a letter to our inner child. I don't really have a set prompt. I am just going to write. If, just trying to visualize my inner child and just if she was sitting right next to me or if she was sitting across from me, what would I say to her? Oh, I actually have a baby picture. So let me get that baby picture and then I'm going to look at it and then I'm going to write a letter. Okay, so I found a picture. I found 4. So I'm going to just prop this up and look at little Ari while I write a letter to her. Just looking at her right now, it's already making me a little emotional, but that's okay. That's the whole point of this. Gosh, I was so cute. What happened? Oh my gosh. Why is she wearing swim goggles? What? Honey, you are nowhere near the beach or the pool. I just finished writing my letter to my inner child, so we are going to read this out loud. Here goes. Why am I nervous? Hi, Ari. First of all, I just want to say that I love you, kid. I love that you're hopeful and you always try to see the goodness in people, even if they don't deserve it. I've lost a bit of that hopefulness, but I'm gaining it back by reaching out to you. There's nothing wrong with who you are. I know you've grown up with lots of comments about how you're quote-unquote too much, or that you need to calm down, or worse, stop faking it for attention. The fact that grown adults would talk down to you like that for being you means that they could be projecting their own insecurities, be having a bad day, or just generally miserable in their lives and find the need to fill the void in their hearts and minds by tearing others down when they should be filling it with love. Wow. I wrote that? Be what they think is quote-unquote too much, because if being yourself means that you're too much to some people, maybe those people weren't meant to be in your life. This ties in with my previous point, but please understand that being sensitive isn't to be kept a shameful secret. The fact that every time you would shed tears or express some sort of emotional response, you would be met with rage and fury breaks my heart. You have a pure heart and a talent for being in tune with your emotions, and that is your strength, not your weakness. You deserve healthy and unconditional support. I'll support you. You'll see me and hear me cheering from the crowd, regardless of what the end result is. I'm just proud you put yourself out there. I'll even take you out for some ice cream afterwards to congratulate you on a job well done. I got you. It was never your job to fix issues that were out of your control. You're just a kid and you had so much weight on your shoulders without anyone to acknowledge it. You've seen and heard things a kid should never have to see or hear. I'm sorry you had to be alone. I'm sorry you didn't have anyone on your side. I'm sorry your family failed to see you for who you are. I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. I promise. You've lived your entire life thinking, oh my God. You've lived your entire life thinking something was wrong with you, with certain people reinforcing the thought, so I know it can't be easy to see yourself for who you are rather than what you've been told. But I assure you that you're more than enough. I'll make sure you're safe, both inside and out. I'll stay up when you need a good cry. I'll be there to hug you when you need some comfort. I'll be ready with a cake and balloons to celebrate your birthday. No matter what the occasion is, I'll be there to support you. You're not alone anymore. I love you, kid. I always will. And that's my letter. I'm trying to dry my tears. It's not working. You know, having a visual representation, like a baby picture or maybe like a picture when you were a kid in front of you while you write this is really important, because you actually see the person you're writing to. You're seeing yourself. You're seeing your inner kid. I just saw her and I just, wanted to protect her. Like, I know she's been through so much and I wanted to be the one to give her some comfort. If you have some sort of childhood trauma, I definitely recommend this exercise because I feel like it healed a lot in a short amount of time. Just visualizing my inner child and just talking to her and just saying that I'm gonna be there for you, even if nobody else is, you have me in your corner. And just telling her that is so rewarding. Okay, so even though I kept this letter pretty short, I mean, like, to be honest, if I had all the time in the world, I would probably fill this entire notebook because she needs to hear a lot of stuff. A lot. She needs a lot of emotional support, okay? She's a sensitive child. My emotions are so jumbled up right now. I don't even know what anything is anymore, so I think that this is a pretty good place to stop this video. Anyways, I'm gonna go cry and I will see you tomorrow.